What is going on, guys? Thanks for checking out this video, my sports Gematria. In this video, I'm going to go over some basketball games for Tuesday and Wednesday, April 11th and 12th. I'm going to show you highlights of each side, and it's going to be up to you to determine who you think will win based on the numbers. I encourage you to add additional information on top of this if needed for you to feel confident in your own pick. And if for some reason you're curious to know who I'm picking in these games, you'll have to join my Patreon. My picks are always in writing, underlined, and italicized. For more information on that, please see the pinned comment in this video, the comment section below. I wish you guys the best luck on all your picks for these games, for those days. Let's go ahead and get into the games. We're going to be looking at the play-in tournament games, the first 2 days. So on Tuesday, we have the Hawks versus the Heat, Timberwolves versus the Lakers. And then I'm going to go over Wednesday's games, Bulls versus Raptors, Thunder versus Pelicans. On this side of the screen right here is what I call my daily numbers, date numerology, Gregorian Hebrew calendar. And then on this side of the screen is what I call my game numbers specific to the game. The way that I have it structured here is I have the road team up top, the head-to-head records in the middle, and then the home team at the bottom. It looks a little bare. I don't have any coaches' records or anything like that because this is the play-in tournament, and the play-in tournament doesn't necessarily count to the overall coaches' record. It doesn't really count against the overall head-to-head records between the two teams. I'm basically just looking at it to add to the season record. So the way I have it structured here, you see I don't have any coach records here. I'm not going to add that until the playoffs. I just have the season record for the team, the road record, and then if they have a play-in tournament record already for the last couple years since the play-in tournament has started, I add that. The head-to-head record that I use in the middle is the season head-to-head record. So I'm just using their season head-to-head record. The play-in tournament records do not count towards the stats of the all-time head-to-head records between the two teams. At least none of the stat websites have logged any of them. So I'm just using the season record right now. And so it looks kind of bare, but, you know, with it being the play-in, kind of in a limbo, not much to work with here. But at the bottom, the home team, their season record, their home record, if they have a play-in tournament record, and that's about it. But let's just go ahead and jump into it really quickly. Start with the first game here. The Heat versus the Hawks. So I always start with the home team, and then I'll go over some numbers for the road team to win this game. So starting with the home team, the Heat, if they were going to win this game, just a few numbers here for them is it will be a day with 13 and 38 date numerology on the Gregorian. The Heat can sit on 38 losses for the season as they become 4-1, like 41 head-to-head against the Hawks for the season with the win, 41 the 13th prime number, as Hawks sit on 41 wins for the season with the loss. Hawks would get their 42nd loss for the season in their 42nd road game, Heat 42nd home game. And the Hawks, they could become 2-1 for a play-in tournament record as a team with a loss. And the number 21, you write it out, sums to 42. So as you can see, not much numbers there, right? Like it's just the season record, the home record, the head-to-head for the season, and that's it. Since the play-in tournament is different, they don't add the records. I can't add in the postseason record for the team. I can't add in the all-time head-to-head records for the team. I can't add in all-time record for the coach because none of that's going to get logged in for any of those stats. So I have to just keep it bare bones for the play-in tournaments. And this isn't my first play-in tournament doing it. I've done every single play-in tournament so far for the last, I think, 3 years since they started it. This is how I've done it every single time. But yeah, so the Heat, they can sit on that 38. They can become 4-1 head-to-head. Hawks can sit on 41 wins with the loss, get their 42nd loss for the season in their 42nd road game as they become 2-1, like 21 for a play-in record as a team. 21 sums to 42. If the Hawks were going to win this game, it would just be the reverse because Hawks come into this game 41-41. They can either get their 42nd win for the season or their 42nd loss. It could go either way for them. And it being the Heat's 42nd home game, Hawks' 42nd road game. Hawks could just as easily get their 42nd win for the season. And if that were to happen, they would become 2-3, like 23, head-to-head against the Heat for the season with the win. This being the Hawks' 83rd game for the season, the Heat's 83rd game for the season. 83 mathematically is the 23rd prime number. Yeah, Hawks could become 2-3, like 23 head-to-head against the Heat. I guess I can go ahead and mark that in a dark blue, just as a reminder to myself. On top of that, Heat, they can get their 39th loss for the season. And they can also get their 15th home loss for the season. Today with 22 and 38 date numerology on the Gregorian. 15 if you write it out sums to 38. And 22 if you write it out sums to 39. Also sums to 42. 42nd home game. For the Heat, they can get their 39th loss, 15th home loss. So that's what I would kind of put for the Hawks and the Heat. Moving on to the next game here. The Lakers versus the Timberwolves. Lakers versus the Timberwolves. So I'll start with the home team, and then I'll go over the road team. So starting with the home team, the Lakers. This is going to be the Lakers' 42nd home game. Timberwolves' 42nd road game. Timberwolves consider on 42 wins for the season with a loss as they get their 41st loss for the season. 41, the 13th prime number. Today we'll have 13 date numerology on the Gregorian. It'll also be a day with 22 date numerology on the Gregorian, and Lakers can even the score 2-2 head-to-head against the Timberwolves for the season with a win, as the Timberwolves get their 22nd road loss to go with. I didn't see much for Lakers getting their 44th win for the season, but they could sit on 39 losses for the season with the win, with the 22 date numerology on the Gregorian. 22, if you write it out, sums to 39. It also sums to 42 in their 42nd home game. They can sit on 39 losses with the win as they become 2-2, like 22 head-to-head against the Wolves. 22 sums to 39 and 42 as Timberwolves sit on 42 wins with the loss in their 42nd home game, or 42nd road game, excuse me, as they get their 22nd road loss. On the flip side, though, if it were going to be the Timberwolves to win this game, this will be the 83rd game for the season for the Timberwolves. It will be the 83rd game of the season for the Lakers. 83, the 23rd prime number. Lakers can just sit on 23 home wins with a loss. It being a day with 13 date numerology on the Gregorian, Lakers can fall 1-3 like 13 head-to-head against the Timberwolves for the season with a loss. It will be the 20th day of the Hebrew religious calendar. Timberwolves can become 2-0 like 20 for a play-in record as a team with the win, as Lakers become 0-2 for a play-in tournament record as a team with the loss, like 20. And I think that might be... I didn't see anything for the 40. 43-40. And nothing jumps out too significantly to me on that one. But yeah, that's kind of a gist for both sides on that one. Let's move on to Wednesday's games. Sorry to interrupt this video, you guys, but I need a huge favor from you. Can you go ahead and like this video and leave a comment below on who you think's going to win? It's going to help with the YouTube algorithm. It's going to help grow my channel. I really appreciate you guys being here. Let's go ahead and get back into the video. Move over to the next day here, Wednesday the 12th. Start off with the Bulls and the Raptors. Same setup. Starting with the home team, the Raptors. If the Raptors were going to win this game, it will be the 42nd road game for the Bulls, 42nd home game for the Raptors. Raptors can get their 42nd win for the season or their 42nd loss. It can go either way. I messed up here on this one. I shouldn't have marked that. I don't know why I have it as 31. Should be 41. Which means this connection doesn't work. Right? The Raptors come in 41-41. Yeah. Okay. All right. So 42nd home game for the Raptors, a 42nd road game for the Bulls. Raptors can get their 42nd win for the season or their 42nd loss. It can go either way for them. It will be a day with 14 date numerology on the Gregorian. They can sit on 14 home losses with the win as they get that 42nd win for the season. That could be a potential for them. 43 mathematically is the 14th prime number, and Bulls would get their 43rd loss for the season if that were to happen. On top of that, 43, if you write it out, sums to 59. And it will be a day with 59 date numerology on the Gregorian, 14 date numerology on the Gregorian, 43 sums to 59, 43 the 14th prime. Raptors can sit on that 14 home losses with the win as Bulls get their 43rd loss for the season. It's pretty much a 50-50 coin flip game with the Raptors being 41-41 and then getting their 42nd win or their 42nd loss. It goes either way. Kind of tough to choose on that one. But what am I looking at here? Bulls, they can get their 24th road loss for the season on a day with 39 date numerology for the Gregorian. 24, if you write it out, sums to 167, the 39th prime number. What else here? What else? I think that kind of might be it for the Raptors. Like I said, that 42 goes either way for the Raptors. They can sit on 14 home losses with the win as Bulls get their 43rd loss for the season, 24th road loss for the season. If the Bulls were going to win this game, it's the Bulls' 83rd game for the season. It's the Raptors' 83rd game for the season. 83 is the 23rd prime number. It will be a day with 23 date numerology on the Gregorian. Bulls can sit on 23 road losses with a win. Bulls can become 2-2, like 22 head-to-head against the Raptors for the season with the win. 22, if you write it out, sums to 39. It also sums to 42. It's Bulls 42nd road game, Raptors a 42nd home game. Day with 39 date numerology. Bulls can even score 2-2 head-to-head against the Raptors. 22 sums to 39 and 42. Bulls would sit on 42 losses for the season with the win in their 42nd road game, as Raptors get their 42nd loss for the season in their 42nd home game. So it can go that way. And that's kind of basically it for that one. Not a whole lot for these games. Like I said, it's just with the play-in tournaments, there's no records I can add. I can't add in the coaches' records. I can't add in the all-time playoff records or the all-time head-to-head records because the play-in tournament games aren't added to those stats. So that's kind of their own separate category. So I'm just working with literally the season records, the season head-to-head, and the play-in tournament records if they've already been in a play-in tournament in the previous years. So last game up here, Thunder versus the Pelicans. Starting with the home team, the Pelicans. If the Pelicans were going to win this game, Pelicans, they can get their 43rd win for the season as they sit on 14 home losses with a win on a day with 14 date numerology for the Gregorian, 43 the 14th prime number. It's also a day with 59 date numerology on the Gregorian. And I've already mentioned this, 43, if you write it out, sums to 59. Pelicans can get that 43rd win for the season, sit on 14 home losses with the win as Thunder get their 43rd loss for the season, 43 the 14th prime, 43 written out sums to 59. But if you write out 14, you see that 14 sums to 40 and it sums to 41. Pelicans could become 4-1 head-to-head against the Thunder for the season with the win to go with, as Thunder sits on 40 wins with the loss, as Pelicans sits on 40 losses with the win. So that can go a bunch of different ways. You can even say that the Thunder would fall 1-4, like 14 head-to-head against the Pelicans for the season with the loss. Kind of just goes both ways of that 41-14, 40-43, 43-40. Sits on 14 home losses, 14 sums to 40, 14 date numerology, 43 to 14 prime. So it could just be all of that and above. If let's switch gears here. If Thunder was going to win this game, it is a day with 59 date numerology on the Gregorian. 59 is the 17th prime number. Thunder could get their 17th road win for the season. Thunder would sit on 42 losses for the season with a win in their 42nd road game, as Pelicans sit on 42 wins for the season with a loss in their 42nd home game. Now, it will be a day with 23 date numerology on the Gregorian. This will be the Thunder's 83rd game for the season. Pelicans' 83rd game for the season. 83 is the 23rd prime number. Thunder could become 2-3, like 23, head-to-head against the Pelicans for the season with a win. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that in a dark blue to remind myself. And then Thunder can get their 41st win for the season. Pelicans can get their 41st loss for the season on a day with 14 date numerology. Already went over 14 sums to 40 and 41. So they can go from 40 to 41 wins. Pelicans can go from 40 to 41 losses. And then Pelicans would fall 2-1, like 21 for a play-in tournament record as a team. 21 sums to 42. And it also sums to 39 and 102. It being the 102nd day of the Gregorian, a day with 39 date numerology. So we can go ahead and mark that in a gray color. So there's some numbers there against Pelicans. And, you know, that's basically about it. Like I said, there's not a whole lot to work with these play-in tournaments because none of the stats or the numbers count towards the overall team records, the overall coaches' records. So I can't use, you know, the team's playoff record, the all-time head-to-head records between the two, the coaches' all-time records, because the play-in tournament just stands alone as its own. So I just have the season records to work with and the play-in tournament record to work with if they have a play-in tournament record, as well as their season head-to-head record. And so with that being said, those are the 4 games. Hopefully this helps. Hopefully this gives you insight to these games, gets you started on a decode, adds to a decode that you already have. I really appreciate you guys watching. I really appreciate the support. I wish you the best of luck on all your picks for these games. And hopefully you win all the money in the world. I'll see you guys in the next video.